Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Plague Inc. Evolved. First things first, let me ask you to turn off or whitelist me in any ad blockers. Help me make a career. So, the problem we've run into, and it's not really a big problem, is we won on casual with the zombie plague, and it just unlocked one more of these regular genetic code things that we haven't unlocked. So even beating the zombie plague on casual isn't going to unlock the special zombie modification code here until at least all of these in the first four are unlocked, and I bet all of these in the last four for regular plagues has to be unlocked too. So we've got 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9 things to do. So let's, just to keep things spicy, we're going to go through all the plagues on casual, I guess. Yes, I have to keep it on casual. The thought does occur to me that we would what was I trying to say? The thought occurs to me that we would play on like brutal or mega brutal, but without everything unlocked, I don't think I can win. And then that would just be another episode where we don't progress anywhere. Okay. So, we're playing as the bacteria today with all of those modifications. Not a lot of difference in the modifications. The one modification we did just unlock is the plague will be harder to cure. Number one major important modification to have in your plague. Make it more difficult to cure. Today we're going to be the Boobonic plague, a very famous bacteria. Now, I am almost certain that this is not how you spell bubonic. And because I am too lazy to go look up the correct spelling, we're going to just assume that the bubonic plague is a plague that causes giant swelling of the breasts, both in male and females. And thus, it is the bubonic plague. So, keep that thought in your head. Alright, now if you're going to start with giant breasted people, I think you kind of have to start in Russia. Russia has a penchant for it, although we could have also started in California. I've seen bigger breasted Russian women though. Some through natural means, some through not so natural means. So we've got our 7 DNA. Valve time slower than thought. Researchers have calculated it takes longer than expected for radioactive fluids with a half-life of 3 years to pass through valves. Reason unknown. Interesting. Does this really mean anything, or is this just a joke, the fact that Half-Life 3 is never coming out? It seems like it's never gonna come out. I think this works with the fluid transmission. It's slowed down fluid transmission, so I need to slow it back up. Hidden in the joke is some actual gameplay elements I'm thinking. So, Valve has totally mishandled Half-Life 3. And I understand why. You have the creator of Valve, the runner of Valve, the owner of Valve. Half-Life is his baby. He's trying to program it himself, but frankly, I think he's not up to snuff in today's programming languages. Because he's also running Valve, and by the way, he's running Steam that's making him millions of dollars. I missed one there. You don't want to do that. So, yeah, I don't think his programming's up to snuff. I think he wants to be very involved in creating Half-Life 3. I think they're very much focused on their source code that Half-Life is built upon, which, okay, and we know that that's true because Valve just announced, as of this recording, how they announced Source 2, which they kind of indicated that you would never need to because it was going to get up. Source 1 was going to become updated and always and never be obsolete, which is a silly thought. Everything becomes obsolete. Starting from scratch is not a sign of defeat. So since this started in a cold region, I'll go ahead and give it some warm resistance. But their Source 2 is more featured around their virtual reality kind of skunkworks projects that might go somewhere. Virtual reality is gaining interest, but I still haven't seen the games. There's all kinds of things you can do that are cool, but they might just be roller coasters. They may not be home entertainment consoles. If that makes any sense to people. What I mean by that is a roller coaster is a very fun thing that a lot of people enjoy, not me in particular, but I'll grant other people enjoy it. But you would never have a roller coaster in your house. Not even one of the simulated four-dimensional roller coaster devices that you see sometimes at malls that will move you around and make you feel like you're in a real roller coaster. Those things are too big. They're only good for that like one video, or a real roller coaster is only good for one ride. It's not gonna change that much. Some of them at Disney actually do slightly change, but not by a lot. So it's not a home entertainment device. And I'm wondering if VR is going to be like that, in the sense that it's very cool looking. I would love to get an Oculus Rift or a Valve VR thing and try the demos, which is all I can really call any of the games at the moment. They feel like demos. They don't feel like they are that they are full-fledged, even like 3-hour games, let alone a 4-hour games. I feel like a lot of people are thinking that they're gonna get first-person shooters like Battlefield in for VR, when no, because you can't run around and do all of that. The whole controller in your hand while you have a VR glasses still is probably going to have to exist, because walking around doesn't really work, and it almost is never going to work. Dysentery mutated. They're at 24% of this cure, so we've infected almost all of the world. There are going to be a lot of big-breasted people on this planet. And they're just gonna get heavier and heavier and cause them to drop down. Just think about VR. How is this game going to really be benefited through VR? The only way I can see that this is benefited at all is if you make this screen like a monitor screen, and then you can turn your head to the left to see the disease screen, and you can turn your head to the right to see the world screen, look up to see the news, look down to get a country's information or see the chart. Not seeing a lot of reason though. Let's try and get some more lethality in here. See how fast we can kill all these people. So imagine the entire planet has the Boobonic plague now. Their giant breasts have caused them just to fall to the ground. They can no longer move or feed themselves, and they're just stuck there, starving to death. Oh. This is actually a really terrible disease, but it is not unheard of that things like tumors certainly do this to people all the time. In reality, people have elephantism and large tumor growths. They become so weighted down that they cannot move, they cannot get out of bed, they cannot feed themselves, they can't make it to the bathroom. A lot of people who are morbidly obese and homebound do have tumor growths that are at least a contributing factor to that. Sometimes being morbidly obese is a contributing factor to tumor growth, and elephantitis is a disease that is pretty bad too, where things grow too large. So it's not unheard of the thought a disease could cause breast tissue to grow rapidly. And males do have a small amount of breast tissue, I believe, so they would not be immune. And males might get a little distracted if they start growing breasts. I know a lot of shallow men that probably would be. That they might lose all interest in the opposite sex once they have breasts of their own to play with. Anyways, that was a stupid name and a silly thought and a long conversation. Usually I don't talk in this game about stuff. I save that all up for my Hearthstone channel. So if you like this conversation, go subscribe to my Hearthstone channel. If you don't like Hearthstone or don't know what it is, it really doesn't matter. It'll help you a little bit to watch like the first episode and get the tutorial. But my Hearthstone channel is me talking about my channel and what's going on in my life, and that's where you get more conversations like the one we had today. So if you like that, go check those out. We have beaten and destroyed the world with the terrible disease of the Boobonic plague, called Boobonic plague, in 530 days, which is pretty fast on easy, casual difficulty. The cure only got up to 49%. We never did do a genetic reshuffle. We could have done that. I think we had DNA at the end. And so we have a score of 5,090 and 3 biohazards. And now we have base oxidation. Let me go look at that and see if I can pronounce it. Base oxidation. I guess that's what oxidation, maybe I mispronounced the word the whole time. My entire life. Wouldn't surprise me. So your plague can mutate transmissions, easier to cure. Now that would be great to mutate transmissions instead of symptoms, which are usually what you do. But easier to cure is just something I never want. I much rather would have your plague is harder to cure every time. So we've got one done. Next episode we're going to do a virus and figure out what, and we'll do a virus on casual and unlock another thing. But that's the end of this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me through fan funding, click on my name, Rydo. That takes you to my main YouTube page. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. If you want to follow me on Google Plus or Twitter or friend me on Steam or Battle.net, all that information is down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.